Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Real People, Real Lives. I'm very excited today to have someone tuning in from United States, Erie, Pennsylvania to be exact. So before I ask her to introduce herself, I'm just going to say a bit about Arlene. She is a certified coach who's been working as a coach for the past 3 years, but has around 25 years of experience working in the HR domain. And using coaching, she helps a lot of her employees gain self-awareness, help them through career change, help them through leadership transitions, uh, and just give space to people in this world and understand their perspective. So she's very passionate about learning and growing. She also meditates and thinks a lot about her emotional self. So an incident that she shared with me was that she has a spiritual teacher who helped her unlock a lot of her emotional issues. And some of this was she lost her father when she was very young, and at that young age she couldn't understand death and the loss of a parent, and she saw her mom picking up the load of the family, and as a result began to react to things as opposed to responding to things. So being with a spiritual teacher and also coaching taught her more about self-care, self-love, to stay more present and grounded, and now she's an inspiration to other people. I'd like to share one quirky thing about her, which is common to me as well. So both of us like animals, and we end up talking to our pets. Also, we perhaps dance or show our pets some moves. So she has a 20-year-old cat, and I have a 13-year-old turtle. Thank you, Arlene, for joining us. Would
Oh,
you,
thank you, Tika. Thank you so much. It's so good to be with you. Yeah.
so how has the COVID situation in the United States been for you guys? You've already been around 3 weeks in lockdown.
Yes, 3 weeks we've been working. I've been working from home. Fortunately, I've been able to work. Um, so it was a big transition. I work at a company that has 6,000 employees, and I worked from home 1 day a week as a habit. So I was accustomed. I had my materials, and I knew I had my equipment. But a lot of employees didn't. They had never worked from home before, so it was very rocky at first, getting adjusted. Um, and now what we're finding is some people have a lot of extra work to do because this is, the uncertainty and planning and now executing. We have to figure different ways to execute. And other employees have more time on their hands. So there's a big disparity in terms of, what's happening in the workplace. But yeah, it's been a big adjustment, and the streets are quiet, except for when I walk in my neighborhood at lunchtime. There's a lot of people out walking with their animals, and because everybody's working from home, as many people as possible.
So this is the technological side that you mentioned about the companies adjusting to. How do you feel though has the sentiment been around this situation of Corona in the US?
Well, I rely a lot on what I hear on the news. When I hear stories about the medical community, what they don't have, how we're not prepared. Um, Families can't see their loved ones when they're hospitalized. So there's just a lot of suffering on a lot of levels. New York City has had to deal with so much um, and so fast. Some people, don't obey the lockdown rules of staying home and the social distancing. So that is happening. Um, it's all over the board. Where I would say the vast majority of people are honoring all of that, um, and in many ways, it's bringing people closer together. Um, and in other ways, it's creating a lot more challenges for people. Now their kids are home with them, while the parents are working. Um, So it's just a lot of shuffling and a lot to deal with for many people.
Yeah. So in Singapore, we are beginning our circuit breaker from today, but it will go until 4th of May. And the first initial cases of corona that we heard were way back in January, after Chinese New Year. But surprisingly, I was not too worried because Singapore has always done such an amazing job at handling everything. So I was my usual positive self and, going about work normally. But in India, where my family is, my parents and my in-laws, um, so suddenly on 23rd, they declared a curfew for the entire day. And it was okay till then. But then on 23rd, they declared that from 24th March to almost 14th April, there's going to be a lockdown. And I don't know why, but hearing that word lockdown, and then borders were beginning to close down. So you can't get into Singapore, you can't get into India, and you have to be where you are. So I don't know, when I started hearing about all of this is when my positive self, started tanking. And on 25th, I had a very bad panic attack, which I didn't even realize at that time. But I don't know, there was just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear about how the economy is going to turn out. And I was very, very worried, of course, about my in laws and my parents also. And it was just a very, very gloomy, sad, uncertain, fearful kind of a feeling that I didn't really know how to handle it. And it was very alien to me. Like most people that know me as a very positive, sunshine attitude. I'm always laughing, always smiling. Uh,
Mhm.
and okay, I do get bogged down by life, but I will also get up and, start moving around. But that week was very sad and it was
Yeah,
very, very fearful for me.
yeah.
So that's when I thought about the positivity movement,
Mhm.
because I kept on hearing after that. When I opened up, I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, I also had a panic attack," and I'm so
Mhm.
worried. Parents are worried about their children. A lot of people are worried about their jobs. A lot of
Yeah.
people are worried about their parents also, because apparently senior citizens are the one that will get very
Mhm.
impacted by this, right? And
Mhm.
then people getting separated from family. Someone is stuck in
Mhm.
one country and you can't see them, you can't meet them. So that has been very, very sad. And this is something that our in this lifetime, this is the first time that, and
Right.
hopefully the last time, that we're going to
Right.
see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been hard to believe. I know at first it was just hard to even accept that this is for real
Yeah.
and that we couldn't like have people like come in our house and be close to us and people that weren't family already living here. So it was just it was a big mental adjustment.
Yes.
Um, and I have a 26-year-old son, and he was all on top of this and researched this, and he started tracking me on his phone. And I go for walks in the neighborhood and he's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm just going for a walk in the neighborhood by myself." He's like, "You're not allowed to walk with anybody." He was just really, I think he put the fear in me that really got my attention. Like, this is real, because he lives in Philadelphia, so he's in a, not far from New York City. So he's really, kind of been a little more on the edge of this than it's been in my area. We've only had 20 cases in my county that I live in. Um, so I mean, the numbers keep growing, but right now we haven't been as hard hit, thank goodness.
Yeah. can
Yeah.
can he travel though? Can you like travel between cities in the US now?
Oh, yeah, you can travel between cities. Now, New York is, some of the, like the New England states, like New York and Connecticut, they're in New Jersey, they're discouraging that, but they're not mandating that you can't.
Okay.
So a lot of people from New York City, they've traveled to Florida. They wanted to get out of the state, out of the city, and so they were asked. The government asked them to quarantine themselves when they make that kind of trip. But yeah, we can travel amongst the states within our states.
Right.
But a
And
lot of
how
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't, but
Mm. In India, you can't travel between cities. There's like a complete lockdown.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And how are your employees taking this? Like, what are you as HR and as a coach trying to do for your employees on the mental well-being side?
Well, I think this is still so fresh for us, still 3 weeks. So I think people are just trying to take care of their basic needs right now in terms of just surviving, figuring out, how to use the technology. We're having to do meetings online now, all our meetings, and some of us are more comfortable with that than others. So I think that's been more of the mode we've been in. Um, just more of a survival, like getting used to this new routine. Um, Although I am coaching this one woman who still wants to talk about her career. And I'm like, okay, we'll keep moving forward on how you can. She's just very frustrated in her current role. So I've been really slow right now with the coaching. And I have a couple more this week, so I'll learn more what people are dealing with. But for the most part, our company has handled this really well. We actually know that we won't even be returning to our offices until June.
Mm.
Um, so we were actually ahead of the state in terms of what our state required people to stay at home. Our company was ahead of that. And they've been really good to all of us in terms of communicating with us, what to expect. Um, so, I think we're just really been in the adjusting mode still.
Sounds like you had everything planned, pre-planned though.
I think, to some degree, we have had, yes, we've been thinking about it, but I don't know that anyone's really planning for this kind of a thing. I think there just were a lot of unexpected situations that occurred. And like a lot of our administrative assistants, they don't have the technology. They may not even have it at home to tap into. So, a lot of people, we had to get some kind of a resource to them. So yeah, some of our employees have had a much more challenging time where their workload has increased so much. So it's added to the stress level. And if they've had a family member who's lost their job, that adds to the stress level. And then some employees have less on their plate. So that kind of creates a different kind of a stress. And now we're trying to figure out, what do we do? Do we offer, we encourage people to take vacation now? So there's just a lot of those kinds of conversations going on
Right.
because we
And
don't really know how long it'll last or if it'll maybe recur in the fall.
oh,
That's the
yeah,
other thinking.
true. Yeah, we don't really know when there's an end date to this, right?
Yeah, right.
Hmm. And so, Arlene, how are you keeping yourself positive and hopeful in this pandemic that has broken up
Well, like
on us?
like you mentioned in my introduction, I meditate. So I've been actually meditating more. Um, I have a meditation group, and we actually we do our own meditation daily, but there are twice a week where we all try to meditate at the same time in our own homes.
Okay.
And we're all over, we're Canada, United States. Um, and so we all join in at 8 o'clock on Sunday and 8 o'clock on Wednesday, and we we focus on that meditation for the world healing. So, sometimes my schedule has been so busy that I haven't really had as much time to do that, but I'm really making the time now to do those extra meditations. Um, and then the other thing I started to do, it came to me one morning, um, I was journaling. I woke up early one morning and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just put this in a blog. So I started a blog, and people seem to really be responding to it. And I'm just putting, how I'm working with this, what my experiences are, and just trying to connect with other people. It gives me another outlet to connect with a bigger group. and just, certainly an opportunity to express myself. So those are the things I'm doing. Besides, hanging out with my cat, we're intimately connected. I always know where she is and what she's doing, and she knows what I'm doing. So we're always keeping an eye on each other.
Is
So,
she happy to have you home now for a
oh
longer
yeah.
period of time?
Oh, she loves it. I think because she's 20 years old, so I think she's actually doing better now because she's eating more regular meals. There's smaller meals, and it's like every 2 hours she's crying and wanting
Aw.
something. So we have this like little exchange and she always knows I'm here. I think she's shocked at first, like, how come you're not leaving the house? I'm
True.
always home now.
True, very true. So
Yeah.
I've been doing something similar without any end goal per se, So I think mentally I've erased 2020 from my mind because of the way it's going. Yeah. But I'm now working on things that I always wanted to work on. So, like this talk show that we're recording now, and a lot of other content that I'm working on. I'm also writing a lot more, not yet on a blog, but on social media. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. Like it's bringing a sense of focus and a sense of hope that eventually everything will be okay. We don't really know when, but yeah, at least sooner than later it will be okay.
Right. Yeah.
So Arlene, can you leave us with a question for our viewers on how to have hope and positivity in these times?
Question. What gives you joy? That's the question. What gives you joy? And sometimes joy, we don't know true joy until we know true suffering. And we're all losing something right now. Our norm, what was normal is no longer normal. So finding that joy, what brings us joy
Yeah.
would be the question.
Thank you so much, Arlene. It sounds like such a simple question, but I think for our viewers, you just need to sit down and reflect on yourself a bit more and find out what brings you joy, and hopefully that will also give you hope and positivity to continue pulling through this difficult time.
Thank you so much. It's been
Thank you
great to
so
be
much,
with you.
Arlene, for
All right,
talking
take
to
good care
me.
in
Thank
Singapore.
you.
All right.
So, Arlene's question is, what brings you joy? And my question to you is, what do you see as positivity in this entire situation? And what are you doing differently to bring in hope and positivity in your life? With this, I want you to be a part of the positivity movement. Tag me or share your pictures, photos, stories of your life, and let us all create this movement where we can share hope and positivity with each other, show each other the path forward, and be there for each other even while not being there technically. So let's try to create hope and positivity in this very down period of COVID-19, and together we'll be able to sail through. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay tuned. Thank you for watching.